Hello, welcome back to the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is Agate. I'm so happy to be back with you today. We are doing an extensive reading to kind of uncover what gateways are opening for you during the eclipse. And I will go into detail what this is. This is going to be pretty long pile picking. So for those of you who would prefer to go directly into your piles, pile number 1 will be the, the black agate. Pile 2 will be this Labradorite crystal, very pretty. And pile 3 will be this Bloodstone crystal. Also very pretty. So those, you can choose from there. I am going to do a full pile picking and I will reveal the top card for the pile picking at the end of that. And I'm also going to talk about what are each of the steps of the reading that we're going to do. So before I jump into the pile picking, I just want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel. It continues to be a joy to be able to offer this. I want to make sure that you are aware that I do offer personal readings that I execute through Zoom, and they're pretty detailed, and I would be happy to do a reading for you. If you're interested, just email me at abundantjoytarot, all small case, at gmail.com, and I will get back to you with the specifics and the details. That being said, let's jump into the pile picking. So as I said, we're going to be exploring today what gateway is opening for you during this this coming eclipse that is going to be happening actually on the day that I'm going to be posting this reading, which is tomorrow. If it gets up tonight, that'll be great. But it has been taking a while for mine to come through. Oops, it looks like we were shuffling wrong card in there. Okay, so for pile number 1, and what we're doing is we're going to look at 2, okay, and 3. Okay, I'm going from the back of the reading up, and what we're doing two of these. So for pile number 1, 2, there we go, and 3. All right. And so the way that it's going to go is, first what we're going to look at is, what do I need to release? You know, who knows what that can be. I mean, it could be something physical, it could be emotional, it could be spiritual. So we will dig into that. What do I need to release? And then the next section of the reading will be, what gateways are opening? What can I attract? And if there's any guidance on how to go about attracting that through whatever gateway is opening for you specifically during this eclipse. And then the final question is, what is the spirit guidance and or support to help me to bring in those things that I want to attract? Okay, so that's what we're going to be about exploring here today. And then one more for pile 3. And so, as I said, we're kind of doing this extensive pile picking, so you guys can hang out with me for that or go directly to your pile. Oops. I'm currently pulling the tarot for the guidance on spirit. I know I enjoy doing it. I was going to do it off camera, and then I thought, well, if anybody wants to watch it, they certainly can. It's very meditative for me. So for pile number 2, spirit, what guidance or support do you have for this beautiful pile? 2, and for pile number 3. For pile number 3, and then we'll pull one of these oracles for the spirit guidance. Spirit guidance. Oops. Oops. Kind of all over here. For pile 1. For pile 1. Oops, looks like that one's going to be for pile 2. And for pile 3. Okay, so that is going to be the first section of the reading. Then the second section of the reading, or that's actually the third section. So the second section of the reading is going to be, this is the section on what gateways are actually opening, what can you attract. And so for pile number 1, Spirit, what gateways are going to be opening to them during this eclipse time? What can they attract? And we're pulling 3 cards. And for pile number 2, all those souls that choose pile number 2, there's one. And then we're going to pull 2 more. So there's that one. And then one more for pile 2. Okay, and then for pile 3. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, and I'm over here looking at my little list here to make sure that I've got what I had prayed on and what I was guided to pull, what decks to pull. Okay, so for pile 1, the other thing that I'm doing with this particular reading, it came up, is it's really a 777 reading. So each section is pulling 7 cards. And so I don't know why I felt pulled to do that, but that's what I did. Okay, so that's that, and then we're just pulling one of these. Oh, that's right. The mystical moments I will put on top, but it's going to be from this section. So I will go ahead and pull it now, and then I will reveal it at the end. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then, not mystical moments, starry beginnings. Okay. So for pile 1, we want to know what gateways are opening for them at this time. What can they attract? And pile 2, okay, and pile 3. Okay, we'll reveal those at the end. And then for the final section here, this is going to be the actual beginning section, which is what does my piles here need to release during this eclipse? What do they need to release for pile 1? Looks like that one is for pile 2. And per pile 3. Is that one? Yeah, that's one. It's thick. Okay, and then again, we're looking at what do we need to release? What do we need to release? Ooh, that one shot out. Okay. And, okay. And what do we need to release for pile 2? For pile 2. And for pile 3. What do we need to release for pile 3? Okay. And this is to release for pile 1. To release for pile 2, Spirit. To release. Okay. And for pile 3. Okay. And then the tarot for what do they need to release would be the final card. So this is the final cards, Spirit. So what does pile 1 need to release during this upcoming eclipse? Okay. Okay, wait, that's too many cards. So let's try those. There's just a lot going on over here, you guys. I'm trying to get clear. Okay, so do they need to release? And okay, and then for pile 2, what do they need to release? Okay, I'm getting that, like, many of you, it may, the releasing process may be difficult. It might be challenging for you, but at the end of the day, the energies that are going to come through this eclipse are going to force you to let go of something that maybe you've been really hesitant to let go of. But the thing is that letting it go is going to be a huge release. You just might not feel it when it is directly occurring. Okay, there's a bit of a pull there to try to get that. So let's reveal the card that we're going to reveal. Now this card is coming from the middle section of what do you want to attract, or what portals are going to be opening for you. Okay, so pile 1 will have the black agate, and what do you have here? Spend time on you, balance yourself. Card number 39. Okay, so that's going to be pile 1. Pile 2 has this Labradorite crystal, and you've got number 21 here. Follow the path of another. Your path is being redirected to where it should be. Okay, so that is going to be for pile number 2. And then for pile number 3, you've got the Bloodstone crystal here, and you've got explore, love, create. The only thing that holds you back is you. All right. So those are going to be your piles for your pick a pile. This is a pretty extensive reading. So, you know, but you're certainly welcome to pick more than one pile if that's what calls to you. And I will look forward to seeing you in the readings. If you're still with me, God bless you. And thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Hello, pile number 1. So if you chose the black agate here, and this card, which was spend time on yourself, balance yourself, then this is going to be your reading. So just as a reminder, the overall reading is on what gateway is opening for me during this eclipse time period. Okay, this card was actually pulled from that section of the reading, so we will look at that when we get to that section. The first section of the reading, we're going to dig into what do I need to release? So what do I need to release? So let's pull the cards that we had for that. We had just a couple of tarot, and we had some oracles. So you have, so what do I need to release? I think this is what we have. Okay, so you have the Page of Pentacles reversed, the Page of Swords. Interesting. Okay, so this one is reversed, and it is the Dragonfly and the Pansy balance. Okay, but it is reversed, so we'll read it reversed. And then you've got the Mimicry and Rain. And then finally, for this section of what do I need to release? Expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. Look at that. Okay, so let's look at what we've got here. So in terms of what you need to release, it's interesting that you've got the Page of Pentacles reversed, and then you've got the Page of Swords upright. Because all of these cards are about what it is that you need to release, what is going to help you to be able to step into whatever is next on your path, okay? And so the Page of Pentacles reversed is actually talking about, because the Page of Pentacles is very committed, very focused, very sort of moving themselves forward, okay? So the Page of Pentacles reversed has this sort of energy of being non-committal, not taking action, being in a bit of stagnation, all right? So that's what that energy is. This sort of sense of like, I'm almost getting like almost a sense of apathy that you may have be walking around in your life right now, that, you know, it's like it's time for you to release this feeling of being stuck. And many of you may feel like what I'm hearing is that many of you may feel like, well, I'm not stuck. It's just that my environment is causing me to be stuck, right? And so that is part of what you need to let go of. If you are feeling like your environment is causing you to be stuck, for all you beautiful souls who chose this pile, it is saying that you need to step out of that, okay? Also, because you've got the Page of Swords to release and it is upright, the Page of Swords has this energy of moving very swiftly, being very much in your head, and kind of like can almost move so swiftly that they sort of, it's like he's got that sword there, and it's like can almost like cut through things without really being mindful of it. It reminds me of that phrase of like, what is it? Measure twice, cut once. Like the Page of Swords might have a tendency to cut more than once and not measure, okay? Whereas the Page of Pentacles tends to have that more slower energy, but you've got it reversed. So because you've got the Page of Pentacles reversed and the Page of Swords upright, and both of these are in the section of what do you need to release, what I'm really getting here is that there's a need for you to release being sort of non-committal or stagnant, but also being able to slow down enough so that you're moving with purpose in your life, okay? That you're not rushing through things just to get to the other side because you're not really fully present in them, okay? That is what I am understanding from that, okay? And then the other card that you have here is the Balance card, the Dragonfly and the Pansy, but you've got it reversed again. So we've got this energy of sort of stagnation here. The other thing about this card, though, is it talks about stumbling into unhealthy obsession, okay? So it talks about that there may be some things that are out of balance in your life because you are focusing too deeply or too intently on something that is not serving you, that is not for your better good. Now, that could be an addiction of some kind, but it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be an addiction. It could be, but it could also be just ways in which you are not taking care of yourself. You know, kind of what is coming to mind, like, you know, over obsession with like social media, or it could be anything. It could be food. It could even just be in connections with others, but connections with others that are not really serving you, that are not moving you forward in the direction of your dreams, right? In some way stagnating you or stopping you from moving forward. So there's just this real sense of like things are out of balance right now in your life, beautiful pile one. So, you know, this eclipse, I believe, because we've got down here, expect powerful change. It's telling me that whatever is going to be coming through this eclipse for you is about shifting you out of this energy of stagnation and not moving forward. Now, on top of that, you've got mimicry here. Now, mimicry here is about mimicking. This crow is mimicking the sound of this dog's human owner, and they're kind of fooled by it. But the energy that I get from this card for you is that you are how can I, like, you are mimicking yourself, if that makes sense. So like what I'm getting from this card is that you're fooling yourself. That's the word that I'm looking for. That there's a way in which like this crow is like disguising for this dog here. It's like you have allowed the circumstances in your life, the imbalances in your life, you have almost told yourself the story enough about it so that you're actually fooling yourself. And so one of the things that I want to encourage you, all of you all in pile one, is to really make sure that you're being totally upfront and honest with yourself with the things in your life that are not, that you're just doing out of habit, doing it out of some bit of obsession, but it's not actually bringing you closer to where you need to be within your spiritual path. So, when I do these readings, it's really to provide confirmation for what resonates with you. So for those of you that this resonates with, it's about taking a moment, taking a breath, tapping into your own intuition, your own self-purpose, and getting really clear and pulling off your blindfold and stop fooling yourself. And even if you can't take the action, right? This is what Spirit has said. Even if you can't take the action yet, the first step is just to be like, you know what? I know I should not be doing that. I know I need to cut down on doing that. I know I need to move away from this group of people because it's not supporting me. I know whatever it might be, in your heart and soul what it is that you need to pull away from. And Spirit is saying, main thing, stop fooling yourself. Now, this rain card is really talking about, kind of is another confirmation. So thank you, Spirit, for this idea of stagnation. Because what this rain card is saying is that we're moving out of that period of stagnation when things are not moving, because you've got this beautiful rainbow that's showing up here. But part of what you need to let go of is that space that one gets in. Like if you have ever been in an experience where it's rained for multiple days and there's just sort of like this feeling of sort of being stuck, right? Being stuck, being held in, being, sort of not getting the fresh air that you need, like feeling stagnant, feeling, I'm almost like getting this sense, this heaviness and this sort of scent of like mildew, like things are mildewing in your life because you've been a bit stagnant, right? So there's no blame, no judgment here, because we all get there. But this reading is really asking you to take a look at that and figure out, well, actually the eclipse is going to help you to figure out what you need to let go of, because it's going to become clear to you that you need to release some of these things, some of these thought patterns, some of these ideas, some of these actual actions or non-actions that you have been doing. Okay. And then finally, as we said here, you've got expect powerful change, the new moon eclipse, which is just right on target. Okay. So it's really saying that a change is coming for you all, which is great because we need to move out of this stagnation. So now the next part of the reading we were digging into is what gateways, portals, opportunities are going to be opening for you as a part of this eclipse that is going to be happening. Okay, so let's dig into that. I'm going to clear this away and then we're going to get to your other cards that are for that section. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so let's pull the cards for what is going to be opening. And you've got, look at that, thrive. There's enough space for the moon and her stars not to tear each other down. Yeah, I really am getting that, from this other stagnation, that some of you may be in a situation where you're around some people that are not best serving you. Okay. Sometimes people, it's not that they're like necessarily, bad people or even a bad moral. They may be wonderful, but if there's a sense of, if you're in a space where you're trying to move forward and do something different, if they're not in alignment with that, sometimes they can try to tear you down in that process, consciously or unconsciously, but just by either not supporting you or kind of teasing you about it is what I'm really hearing, like teasing you about something new that you're trying to do. Oftentimes we get into situations with people where they're not ready to make the change that you're making. And so it's almost threatening to them for you to make that change. So you need to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people that are lifting you up and not pulling you down, whether it's conscious or unconscious. But just, surround yourself with people that are all about you thriving and themselves thriving. Okay. That being said, you've got coming apart, but in reverse. So we will read it as reversed. And magic prayer. Beautiful. That's such a lovely card. I love that card. Okay. And then your tarot for what gateways. Okay. You've got the Knight of Swords. So there's that energy. I mean, we had the Page of Swords here for releasing, but this is the Knight of Swords, which is a much more, it's a fast moving energy, but it's also a bit more mature, okay, than the Page is, at least. Okay, so you've got the Knight of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and Judgment. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. All right. So in terms of what is opening for you, so again, as you're moving out of this sort of sense of stagnation, I feel like what is opening for you is a stronger, this Knight of Swords is really talking about having a sense of purpose, really stepping into what is right. This actually says on here, right is worth the cost. Right is worth the cost. Interesting. Okay. And then notice how in this situation, she's actually moving very fast because the wind is blowing her hair back. And she's the swords represent sort of thought and ideas, but there's a real sense of movement here. But what I love about it is that she's on this white feather. It's as if spirit is guiding her into her purpose, into her path of moving forward, right? And not only that, but she's flying up above the trees. So she's elevated herself out of that stagnation that you all might be dealing with and moving with the help of spirit in swift movement toward her purpose, to what is right, what is balanced in her life, okay? So that I feel like is a gateway that is opening for you in terms of getting clarity on what your purpose is and then taking action toward it, moving swiftly to what you already know you need to do. So as we said in that first section, you need to release, right? There's some things that you need to release. And part of what you need to release is stagnation. All right. And unhealthy habits, unhealthy obsessions, whatever those things are. Spirit is in the spirit of this eclipse that's happening. You will have the energy, if you just seize it, hop onto that feather, if you will, and ride into your purpose. All right. The other thing that's going to be opening for you, you've got the Five of Pentacles here. Now, the Five of Pentacles talks about worries around wealth, your money, and your health, right? And what those issues are. Now, what's really amazing about this card for me is that what's happening behind her is that there is all of this support. That is the lights are there, they're on. She can go in, she can get warm, she can get what she needs to be able to blossom once again, okay? And so the part of what needs to happen here is there needs to be a mindset change in where you begin to really seek these windows. Turn around from your feelings of lack and lost and frustration, sorrow, hurt, whatever it may be. Turn around from that and look at the windows that are open to you. And go knock on those windows. Go see where your support lies and watch yourself blossom again. Okay. So there's also this sense of this card that I'm really hearing is that you're going to be blossoming from the bottom up. So what that also means to me is that it reminds me of this Knight of Swords, because Blossoming from the bottom up means you're blossoming from your feet up, right? Which means you need to get to moving. To me, it's like you need to take steps toward your goals, toward your dreams, and the rest will follow. Okay. Other words, your mindset, your actual putting things into the physical form will come. But what you need to do first is take the first steps. You've just got to start moving. You've got to blossom from the feet up. Okay. So that is what I am seeing here with this section here. Now, on the judgment, well, I'm going to come back to the judgment card because I want to speak on this coming apart situation here, because the coming apart you have here is reversed. Okay. So it's card 46. If any of you all are doing the numbers here, that is going to be 10, which is going to be 1. Okay. And when it is reversed, okay, it talks about situations that are unraveling. All right. Your best laid plans are feel like a maze to you. Okay. And I feel like this is what this eclipse is going to kind of feel like for you, because you're in a place where it feels like you're in a place where you've been a bit stagnant and not moving forward. Okay. And the eclipse energy is going to really open these doorways to move forward. Okay. And so that's going to feel like the major change, the powerful change that's going to be occurring during the eclipse. All right. But what this is saying is, as you untangle yourself, it is also important to keep a sense of humor. Okay. Your challenge is going to be to separate out the elements of this puzzle and to get a better perspective on what has happened. You may have lingered too long in a place where you didn't belong anymore. Okay. So this again is reminds me of what I was speaking to earlier about looking at your environment, looking at the people that are around you, and making sure that you are somewhere where you are being fully supported and are able to blossom, are able to move forward. Sometimes you may feel like you're fully supported when actually you're just being supported to do the negative, obsessive habits that are no longer serving you, and that you already know in your spirit are no longer serving you. Okay. And so that is not the same as being in an environment that's uplifting you, right? So be mindful of that and check yourself, check yourself and see where you need to be so that you can continue to move on your soul path. All right. And it also is saying with this card to just breathe, beloveds. Breathe and know that you are loved. Okay. And that goes right along here with this 32, which is a 5, which breaks out into the magic prayer. The magic prayer is one of my favorite cards. It actually talks about where your prayers are being answered. Not only have they been heard, but they are being answered. You have a profound sense of manifestation right now, and being able to bring your manifestations to fruition. Okay. So you have the power to be able to do that right now. I mean, look at all of this energy around her. And it's really like this sense of opening and surrendering to spirit as you go through these changes, because it is going to be an upheaval, I believe, for this pile in regards to the eclipse. Okay. That it is going to be a bit of an upheaval for you, but it is going to be just such a huge blessing, because the thing is, if you think about unanswered prayers, it's or your prayers being answered, my main question to you, Pile 1, is what are you praying about? What are you putting out there in the universe? Are you praying that you get to your next opportunity to indulge in whatever obsession it is that you're dealing with? Are you praying bigger? Are your prayers bigger than that? Are your prayers about where you want to go, beginning to realize something that you didn't even think was possible for you? Okay, that's where your prayers need to be, because you got the power of magic prayers. So let not your prayers be, when can I get my next chocolate bar, right? Like, or can you bring me my next chocolate bar? Or, whatever it might be. Let your prayers be about your freedom, about your ability to really manifest the things that you want to see in your life and to leave a legacy with, okay? So that is what I'm seeing here. Now, in terms of this judgment card, the judgment card, this is also about spirit coming in and providing, like, it's almost like karmic in that allowing things that maybe where you were getting the short end of the stick in some cases, that judgment will come through and provide balance to that. But the other thing about this that I'm really hearing for you all is that it's also about this sense of sort of, I don't want to say judging yourself, but like taking an honest look at yourself. Taking an honest look at yourself, loving every part of you, okay? And then moving forward, okay? So it's really about, there's almost like a sense of kind of like self-reflection, self-judgment, but self-judgment from a compassionate place, okay? Being clear about what amends do you need to make. And oftentimes those amends are not to other people, they're to ourselves. How do you need to atone to yourself? In what way have you not been fully loving on yourself, fully lifting yourself up, fully standing behind yourself? Okay? In what way? Forgive yourself for that, make amends to yourself, and then start taking action. Okay, because the eclipse is going to help bring those things to light for you so that you can see what you need to see and then be able to move forward. Okay, that I think is very clear and very beautiful. And we're now going to move to the final section of this section of this reading, which is on spirits, guidance, thoughts, and support for you on this journey of transformation that you are on. And it is a powerful journey, you all, and I'm really excited for you. But I want to make sure, this card was also a part of, this is the card that you chose. And this card was also, this is just actually further confirmation, but this card was also about what you're going to be open, what gateways are going to be opening to you. And this says spend time on you. Just as I was just saying, balance yourself. Okay. This card also speaks to those of you who may be empathic out there, where you've been in situations, and we kind of heard that earlier with like being in situations longer than you needed to be in there, but being mindful of what is yours and what is other people's. Okay. And so that can be emotions, whatever it is that you might be picking up. Being mindful of that is taking the time that you need to make sure that your spirit, your heart, and your soul are in balance. Doing whatever it takes to put yourself first so that you can be about your work. What Spirit is telling me is that one thing to be mindful of is it is not selfish to put yourself first, because understand that if you are not fully taken care of, you're not going to be doing the work that you're supposed to be doing on this planet at this time. Okay, so let go of this feeling of like, I need to be there for other people. You need to be there for yourself first. Because it's only when you're fully there for yourself that what it is that is your purpose on this earth can fully be manifested, can truly be revealed to you, and then you can have the internal resources to do what it is that you need to do, which could be saving a lot of other people. But it's really important that you are tapped in with yourself, okay? So that being said, I'm going to move to the final section of this reading, and I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to pause the camera, and I'm going to move these cards so that we can bring in the last set of cards. Okay, so let's look at this final set. So this is guidance from Spirit, And you've got flow. Look at that. Go with the flow. As water trickles down a stream, do not hurry. You know, the guidance here from Spirit is like, absolutely, you're going to be, this eclipse is going to open up some new things for you. And it may feel a little bit discombobulating or like a little off kilter, but Spirit is saying it's okay. Like, you're going to get there. Don't hurry, but do take steps. Okay, I'm definitely hearing that. Like, you do need to take movement, but go with the flow. Go with the flow. Also, the other thing that I'm getting on that is do not hold tightly. Like, don't hold tightly to your current situation. If it feels like things are shifting, if you're getting that gentle nudge, go with the flow. It'll make the process of your transformation easier, y'all. I promise you. Okay. You've got, look at that, the 8 of emotions, which is the 8 of cups. You're going to need to walk away from something, y'all. All right. The Knight of materials, or the Knight of Pentacles. I love that. It's that energy coming in. But again, here Spirit is saying, you know, you need to take action. You need to move, you know, just like the horse is moving. But the Knight of Pentacles is methodically, purposefully going to what they need to go to. So that's beautiful. And then, what do you have? Okay. Ashwagandha, purpose. Yes, and I love that this is falling right after this Knight of Pentacles, because it's really saying like you're moving with purpose. It's almost, these two together give me the feeling of the Chariot, because it's about like moving with purpose. Toward ashwagandha is all about helping you to get to experience your divine purpose. All right. And so this is really saying you're going to need to walk away from some things that are stagnant in your life. You need to take the step, one step at a time. She's not running, okay? But one step at a time, you need to take the step to walk away from that, step into this diligent energy. The Knight of Pentacles is diligently moving toward their things, step by step, making purposeful steps, all right? And then you've got this herb of the ashwagandha, which is all about your divine purpose, okay? So leading you toward your divine purpose, walking away from stagnation to your divine purpose. Come on, Spirit. Look at that. And then you've got the butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but let's see what else you've got here. So then you've got the final 2 cards. You got storm spirit, chaos. Okay, we know there's going to be a little chaos going on, y'all. There's going to be some chaos. You're going to have some of that during this period, because whenever you're needing to walk away from something, there, even if it's just your internal feeling of like chaos, it's there, you know, so it's going to be there because you're going through a major transformation. You've got this beautiful butterfly spirit. And then you've got this chaos card, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then your final card, wow, freedom, y'all. And look, here's that horse again. You've got this horse image again here, and this is 13, which is 4. And it's like, I feel like this freedom is going to bring you to a place of stability, right? It's a place of stability, but you're free in it, right? Because right now you're in a place that may feel like it's stable because it's stagnant, okay? But it's not where you need to be, and it's not moving you towards your purpose, all right? So be mindful of that, because this transition may not feel great all the time, y'all. Let's just be real. But it's going to get you to a place of your freedom, okay? Which is where you want to be. Everybody needs to be free. The butterfly spirit here is talking about transformation. Now, the thing about the butterfly spirit, you know, we all know, you know, that butterflies always tend to represent transformation. Now, the thing about it is we also know, many of us know about the caterpillar and what the caterpillar has to do to become that butterfly. They're basically dying, right? They become mush. That's not a pleasant experience, I am sure. But what comes out of it on the other side is magnificently beautiful. Okay. So and it's free, there's this, I love how your reading has got this energy of taking steps, kind of starting with the horse and then moving with these two cards here into flight. Taking flight is really, really resonating with me, that when you move in towards your purpose, you will be able to take flight, okay? Just like it was a reminder of what was the gateway that's opening to you is being on this feather with the Knight of Swords, right? This idea of like being uplifted above that which is currently around you right now. So this is gorgeous energy, you all. I'm really, really just loving it. But the butterfly spirit is really about this transformation, and it is about dying to the old self, right? It's dying to yourself, but it is going into a joy, a lightness of being that is more beautiful than you can possibly imagine, okay? It does not have to be traumatic. Transformation doesn't have to be traumatic. It doesn't even have to be dramatic, but it is a process of internal growth and development, okay? And how tightly you hold on to the reins is equivalent to how difficult the transformation can be. The more you go with the flow, as Spirit has said here, the easier the transformation can be. All right. So please keep that in mind, that when you know what you have seen, you cannot unsee. Okay. So what you know about yourself, and you just have to be with it. Okay. Now the storm spirit card here, chaos. Okay. This card is saying that it's time to get rid of outmoded thinking. Okay. It's going back to what we talked about before, letting go of any obsessions, any things that you've been holding on to that are holding you in stagnation, any self-imposed blockages. Tear down walls of self-imposed limitations. Step into chaos and embrace it rather than trying to suppress it. Do the unexpected. Okay, that's what this card is calling for, and I think that is really appropriate energy for what we're seeing here. Okay. Now, this eagle spirit, which is the final message from Spirit for you all, and this has been such a beautiful full reading, is that this is the time to express yourself. Don't hold back. Choose life on your terms. Don't be trapped by the expectations of others. Y'all's free. Okay. So this is what this reading is saying, is that this eclipse is going to open up gateways for you to really step into the freedom of your purpose. All right. The freedom of your purpose. Let yourself free. And you all know in your heart what that actually looks like for you. And I am sending you so much love. I have so much respect for this journey. I'm on it a bit myself. And so I just really respect you for this journey, and I know that it is going to be beautiful when you allow yourself to fully transform. Take off your blindfolds, y'all. Embrace who you truly are. Love yourself to life, right? And thank you so much for joining the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is Agate. It was a pleasure to do your reading, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next reading. If you have not subscribed, please go down there and click that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pal number 2. Welcome back to the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is Agate. And if you had chose this Labradorite crystal, as well as this card, Follow the Path of Another, this is going to be your reading. Now, this card we're going to read in the second section of the reading. So there's going to be 3 sections to the reading. The overall reading is about what gateways are opening for you during this period of the eclipse, okay? And we're looking at it in 3 parts. So the first part, we're going to look at what is it that you need to release, okay? What do you need to release? The second part is about the gateways, what gateways are opening and what can I attract, and if there's any guidance on how to attract that. Now, this card falls under that second section. And then the final section is going to be on guidance from spirit, guidance or support from spirit, and just to kind of culminate the entire reading. So that being said, we're going to jump right into the first part of the reading. If you have not yet hit that subscribe button, please go down there and click that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a part of the community. And this is a pretty extensive reading. And so hang on for the ride. So that is what we're going to do. So first we'll do this first section. What do I need to release during this upcoming eclipse? All right. And we pulled a couple of tarot and a couple of oracle cards for this section. So you got the World card. Okay. So again, we're talking about what do we need to release. You got the High Priestess. Okay, interesting. All right. Oops. Sorry. Okay, and you got the Crow and the Dogwood Intelligence. The Crow and the Dogwood. The Dogwoods are very prominent out here in Tennessee. Okay, and then you've got Choices, Communication, and then the final card for what you need to release in this section is Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, Full Moon in Leo. Okay. All right, so let's dig into this a little bit. All right, so when we're talking about what it is that you need to release, and you got the World card, it's important for us to take note of that, because these cards, both the World card and the High Priestess card, are ultimately positive cards, okay? But when we look at it in the context of what you need to release, the World card talks about unmet dreams. Okay, if it's in reverse, it's talking about unmet dreams. It's talking about unfinished business. It's talking about not completing things. Okay, so there's like this energy of, there's a way in which, and this tied to the High Priestess makes me hear and understand that the High Priestess, in terms of what needs to be released. So the High Priestess in shadow is about keeping secrets, having hidden agendas, not trusting, believing, even to the point of having fear of your intuitive abilities. Okay, so kind of stifling yourself from being able to leverage your intuitive abilities. And so that combined with this idea of like dreams not being met, it's like there's a way in which you have been hindering yourself, beloveds, from actually being able to achieve what it is that you most desire, because part of you has been not allowing yourself to fully experience your inner world, because the High Priestess, understand, is deeply connected to not only her intuition, but like her inner being, really sort of knowing what is true for her, knowing her heart, what is connected internally, right? And so if you are disconnected from that, that can show up as not showing up for yourself in some ways, not listening to yourself, right? So for instance, I mean, it can be as simple as knowing that you don't want to go be in a certain place because it makes you uncomfortable, or even like, you know, you're highly allergic to cats, for instance, and you go and spend time with people who have cats, even though you know that it's going to make you uncomfortable. Now, sometimes that's okay, but it's when you are doing it, if you're not listening to yourself. Okay, so it's about like being fully tapped into what is true for your heart, what is true for your spirit, and yeah, and allowing yourself to follow that. By not doing that, you can get into a space where you are feeling frustrated because you haven't been able to, your dreams have not been met. Okay. Now, this crow dogwood card here is talking about intelligence. The dogwood flower and tree is actually a quite robust tree, but it shows the flower kind of can be what am I trying to say? Can be, it's not confusing. I'm losing my words right now, but the flower can be deceiving. The flower can be deceiving because the flower is looks very light. It looks very like sort of gentle. I mean, it is gentle, but it's a lot sturdier than it looks. Right? It's a much sturdier plant. And so that's what this card is kind of speaking to. But it also talks about this sense of feeling like a fraud, okay? Because the dog, you know, in this situation, the dogwood tree is much stronger than it appears, okay? And so part of that is, in relation to what I'm seeing here, is that what I keep hearing is that you're playing small, okay? You're not stepping into your full power because you're not listening deeply to yourself. Or if you are listening to yourself, you're not following through with what is true for you. And in a way, dimming your light around others. It really feels like this is a result of, like, I don't want to say, I mean, it's kind of like peer pressure is what came to me, but it's more than that. It's more, peer pressure feels like a very light thing. It's really about, it's coming from a good place is what I'm feeling. Like your heart is in the right place in terms of how you're showing up. But what you need to understand is that by not stepping truly into your authentic self, it actually is not serving, it's definitely not serving you. And it's not serving the people that are around you either. Even if it seems like it is in the moment, it really is not. 100% is not. So this card is just saying that you have the strength of the dogwood. Your accomplishments are your own, and you deserve the success that you achieve. You do not have to dim your light, you beautiful souls, in pile number 2. Okay. You got the choices card here, which is about really thinking about why you're making the choices that you're making and making sure that they're in alignment with what's going on internally. Okay. That is what this card is really speaking to. In this situation, these crows, this one little crow has the opportunity to choose which one of these, clams that it's going to go to and get. The thing is that one of they may both be good clams, or they might get into one of these shells and find that there isn't a clam in there anymore, or it's not good clam meat for them, right? And so what is happening here is that this crow has an opportunity to make the first choice. And the question is, how is he going to make that choice? Like, what choice is he making, and what is it based on? And so the question for you, beloveds, is like, how are you making your choices? And are you making your choices? What are you basing it on? And are you making it so that you are listening to your heart, listening to your intuition, and following your deeper purpose? All right. That is what that card is calling out. And so in regards to what you need to release, it feels like what you need to release is, in regards to choices, just being mindful of how you're making the choices. and thinking about if the choices that you're making are based on something that you really need to release so that you can step more fully into your power. Now, this card here is about communication. And I feel like with regards to communication, what this card is really speaking to is really speaking up for your own desires, speaking up for what your actual wants and needs are, and not being silent about that. And so I don't feel that this card is saying that you need to release that. I think it's saying that you would need to release not speaking up, not claiming, not speaking up for yourself, not stating what you want and what you desire, not asking for what you need, It's really important that you do that. Oftentimes we think, well, if I ask for what I need, then somebody else is not going to get what I need. What you need to understand is that the universe is abundant. There is more than enough for everyone to get everything that they need, everything that they desire. It's an abundant place, okay? But we also often have a shadow mind that keeps us from really seeing that, okay? So it's really important. And the other thing about it is that by being able to really state what it is that you need and want, other people can really show up. They get to make a choice, right? They get to say whether or not they can meet that need or not meet that need, right? And if they can't meet that need, it doesn't mean that that need will not be met. Okay, but there's a clarity, there's an openness that can occur when communication is going free flowing back and forth. And ultimately it begins with you, because you have to be, no one else can speak for you what your need is and what your wants are. Only you can do that. So if you're not showing up for yourself, that is something you need to release. Okay. And this don't let pride get in your way is, to me, it's really speaking about, and the book kind of speaks about, the book really kind of more speaks about like whether or not you've been shown, whether you've been being too prideful in your interactions with others. Now, some of you may have that, but the sense that I'm getting from this is about it's still along the lines of more showing up for yourself. Not allow, something about pride. The thing about pride is that pride can get you stuck, okay? Because if you have a lot of pride, it can get you so that you feel like you have to stay in that position because you've said this, you've thought this is the way it's always been, and so this is the way you have to be. It doesn't allow, too much pride does not allow for change. It doesn't allow for movement. It doesn't allow for a new thought. It doesn't allow for a new way of being, right? And so it can like hold you, chain you, right? Your pride can chain you. So in that way, I feel like in releasing pride, you're able to step more fully into who you are. Okay, so this was the first part of the reading where we're talking about what do we need to release. All right, and I feel like there were quite a few messages here, but overall, I feel like the message that's really here for you all in pile number 2 is about releasing whatever obstacles, whatever situations, whatever thought processes, or whatever it is that's keeping you from tapping deeply into your high priestess energy, listening to yourself intuitively, and stopping you from fully embracing the world and letting your dreams come true. Okay? That's a lot, but there it is. Okay, so now we're going to move into the second part of your reading, which is about what gateways are opening, what can you attract during this eclipse period. And I'm going to pause the camera so I can move these cards to the side, and then we will bring in your second set of cards for the second part of the reading. Okay? Okay, let's dig into the second part of your reading. And this is about what gateways are opening. What can you bring in? And you've got reevaluate. In the starlit sky, we still look for the falling stars. And what immediately comes to me when I see this card is that you are on a journey of self-reflection and going into shifting the way you are responding to your world. Okay? And that is when we took this idea of falling stars, Like what that says to me is about the things that whatever has kept you, it talks about this idea of a falling star, but it says that, we really look at that because you may feel like you have let yourself down in some way, or you may feel let down in some way by life. And what I feel like this card is saying is that even as we fall down, that is when we shine the brightest, right? And so there's an opportunity for you to celebrate your brightness and reevaluate and redirect yourself into the path that's going to be more in alignment with your soul journey. You've got the spirit of place. And put all these down here. Slow and steady. What a beautiful image. The Six of Cups. Wow, that really feels like that's you right there. We'll talk about that. Queen of Cups. And the Hermit. Yeah, I really feel like you're part of this eclipse. What this eclipse is going to open up for you is an opportunity for you to take some time for introspection, for reevaluating what the path is that you're on, and possibly making some shifts, that some changes need to occur here. And this card also falls under this section here, which is following the path of another. Your path is being redirected where it should be. Now, this card is really a card of self-compassion, but it is a reminder to what I was saying earlier about not stepping in, about not fully being in your high priestess energy, because this card is talking about where you may have been or let yourself be led astray, okay, following the direction of someone else's path, okay? And this is saying that Spirit is working with you right now to redirect your path, okay? And it may feel a little disjointed and maybe slow, and it may just feel like I'm uncomfortable, right? It might just feel like, okay, why am I uncomfortable? I was fine with this before. Now I'm uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable because Spirit is moving you to be on your correct path, because your path, what we experience in our outer world is what we create within our inner world. Okay, so your outward path, your current environment is a reflection of what has been going on within you. So if you haven't been listening deeply to your high priestess, to your intuition, to your heart and soul, and acting from that space, then what your outer world is going to look like is going to be different than what is true for you. Okay, so it's important for you to keep that in mind. So what Spirit is saying is that you are currently in the process of being redirected. Okay, and that might feel a little bit discombobulating. It may feel a little uncomfortable. It may not feel great. Okay, but it is leading you to an amazing place. All right, so you've got the spirit of place and slow and steady. And the spirit of place is it's kind of a confirmation of what it is that we're talking about, because the spirit of place talks about this idea that our environment, particularly the natural environment, has a spirit and an energy in it. And so what I'm getting from this in terms of where you are is that you're in a place of transformation with this new eclipse, and where you have landed, this spirit of place is really saying that you have the power to speak the truth to yourself and to your world and shift that environment. Okay, because there's an energy in the spaces that you embody. Okay, so the energy that you bring to it and put into it affects what you get out of it as well. Okay, it's the same concept of like what is inner what is going on inner reflects what is going on outer, okay? You also bring an energy to a space. And so what you accept, what you don't accept, what you speak on with the communication that we were talking about earlier, it's all helping to build what that environment is around you, okay? And so this card is really saying to be honest with yourself and remain willing to let your situation be revealed for what really is and not what you want it to be, okay? So this is really important in terms of what's opening for you. There is an honesty, a veil that is going to be lifted within this eclipse period that's going to allow you to see truly into your heart's desire and therefore what is not working in your current environment, all right? Which can be a little bit scary, okay? But then you've got this beautiful slow and steady card. Okay, she's got this beautiful snail shell, but with wings, right? I mean, what a gorgeous card is that, right? And this card is really speaking to just having patience with yourself on this journey, okay? Trust that taking life at a more kind of easygoing pace will get you the greater access to your dreams. Slowing down for this pile in particular, the other pile really felt like was like, okay, you all need to speed up. For this pile in particular, I feel like there's a sense of like needing to slow down a bit so that you can move forward. All right. You are going to move forward. No doubt about that. Okay. But there is a need for you to be able to slow down and get some self-reflection, because we've also got this Hermit card here, which is all about introspection. And I'm going to relight us up because we lost some light here with one of these candles. So I'm going to pause this for just a moment. Okay, so with regards to the Six of Cups here, this really feels like part of your self-reflection, okay? I really feel like, no matter whether or not you're male or female or what race you are or any of that this is kind of you, okay? And there's this sense of like a need for, because the Six of Cups is about nostalgia, right? It can go back to childhood. There's also a sense of generosity to it, but it like a kind of a gift, if you will, from childhood, like kind of memory. And I feel like there are some decisions that you have made, maybe even later in your life, that were based on an understanding that you had of the world and of yourself based on earlier times in your life, whether that be childhood or, younger life or whatever it might be for you, depending on where you are in your life, whatever was prior. There's this sense of like sort of needing, like I love how sort of reflective she is in terms of looking at what feels like her past, right? Because there's like blossomings that are growing from that. What the beautiful thing about memory, you all, is that we have an opportunity with memory to go back and pick up what we want to remember and leave the rest, okay? So finding out what serves you in your memory and letting go of the rest of it and just walking forward with that which serves you, okay? That, I mean, it's an opportunity, okay? So that being said, another thing that's opening up for you is a deeper dive connection to your emotions. The Queen of Cups is deeply emotionally intelligent. She is tapped into what is deeply within her and at the surface. She is able to connect with when emotions are rising up in her and able to ride the wave of those emotions, as well as be able to see the emotions in her environment and how those emotions are affecting her. And she's able to do it with the grace and abundance of a queen. Okay, so there's a real beauty in this card in terms of what is opening for you in terms of this eclipse. What portals are opening to you is an opportunity for you to get a better understanding of yourself emotionally and be able to navigate with the grace and agility of a Queen of Cups in terms of your own emotional field as well as the emotional field of your environment. All right. So that's a beautiful opening. And then finally, as we said here, you've got the Hermit card. And this is really saying to me that there is an opportunity for you to do some self-reflection, for you to be your own light, okay? Because the Hermit has their own light and they're able to light their way. This is connection to spirit and to soul. They're able to kind of, even like, you can almost envision like holding that lantern to the inside of you so that it illuminates all of those dark spaces that you've either chosen to or haven't been able to look at, and be able to find the balance of that in your emotional well-being. So, I mean, it's just really, really beautiful in terms of what is going to be opening for you during this eclipse time, okay? So seize the day, y'all, and look into yourself honestly, lovingly, compassionately, and make choices that are going to move you forward, right? We had this choice card. Make choices that are going to move you forward on the path of your destiny, all right? So that's what we've got for the second part of your reading. And now we're going to dig into the final part, which is going to be your guidance from spirit and or support from spirit in terms of being able to do this work of stepping through that gateway, through that portal, of really reevaluating where you are and getting more deeply in touch with your intuitive emotional being. All right, I'm going to pause the video and move these cards over to the side so that we have space for the final section of your reading. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is your guidance from spirit and support. So you've got friends. The most unlikely friendships can form like variegated lichens on hard rock. They create a tight bond. I love this card for you all because I feel like part of, some of you may be feeling, I just got that sense when I was moving the cards, like that some of you all may be feeling very lonely on this journey because you're having internal self-realizations that if you're truly honest with yourself, you know that if you follow them, they're going to cause changes like in your life and in your environment. And that can be scary. And it can also feel like you may have to walk away from some dynamics or people, and just where then will you get your support? So first of all, you need to know that God and spirit, whatever you believe in as a higher power, is always with you, okay? Always with you, even when you feel most alone. The other thing you need to know is that just like this says, the most unlikely friendships can form. The thing is that what you put out is what you draw into you. So you want those friendships that are going to be in alignment with your true self when you are tapped deeply into your own heart, your own intuition, and you start moving and communicating, as we talked about earlier, about what your actual wants and needs are. Then you start pulling into you the friends and the community, the soul family that is in alignment with you. And that is beautiful, okay? So I'm going to put that there because I think that that's really important. So, okay, let's see what else we got. So we've got the devil, okay? Yeah, I'm going to say what kind of, my first thought on that was like, you need to have some fun. That's, oh, okay. And then we've got the Two of Cups or the Two of Emotions, okay? So let's see what we got. Okay, and look at that. Kava community. Look at that. All about this what we're talking about, this friends, this soul community, celebration with community is what is represented there. But I'm going to share more about that. But Let's just quickly go through that. Okay, the scarab beetle spirit, magic works through you. Absolutely it does. And you need to be aware of that because you have been doubting yourself with that. And then the final two messages, courage, aspen spirit. Let's talk about that. Love this. And activation. Yes. Okay, and I feel like, okay, I'm jumping ahead, but basically I feel like this activate, I love this so much. I just got more of it as I was holding it. But okay, so my first thought on this is that, and this is really should be your last card, but my first thought on this was, shoot, did I forget what the thought was? Okay, so my first thought was on activation that comes after your self-reflection. So it was like, because you've got this Hermit card, which is going to be opening within the eclipse. And so when I saw this card, like the first thought was like, oh yeah, this is coming after when you do that introspective work, when you look at yourself and tap into your intuition, you are going to be activated at another level, at a different frequency. You're going to be moving in this life in the direction that you need to move towards your dreams. Beautiful. Okay. And then the other thing is that the second thing that came to me when I was looking at this card is that there's this sort of magic. So one, we've got this magic that works through you. And on top of that, I also see that as sort of like the spirit. I see you as like this solid tree, and the spirit energy that is rotating around you, the soul family that is going to be coming around you and circling you on this process. Because when you get grounded in who you are here, then the energy, there's this whole activation. It's like they're going to be around you, picking up what you need to help you get to that next purpose. It's going to feel like this energy that allows you to move lighter in your life. It's just a beautiful energy. Beautiful energy. So let's go back here to this devil card here. Okay. So the devil card. So I feel what spirit is saying to you here is that, one, you are loose. Okay. Which means that you are free. Okay. You need to let go of the self-imposed restrictions you have put on yourself. Spirit wants you to be free. Okay. So whatever things that are causing you to, whether it be a thought process or whether it be actual things that you have put in place in your life that hinder you from really tapping into your soul purpose, Spirit is saying you are loose. These are not chains that can hold you. I love this image because she is got wings. Like she literally has wings. And these self-imposed restrictions are not real, right? Like she has the ability to fly away, and you, beloveds, have the ability to fly away. The other thing that first came when this did come down, because sometimes the devil card can say you need to have a bit more fun, right? And so a little bit of that is there as well, because we've got this other energy going on here. So I think that is there too. But I really feel like the main message for you is that you are free. Okay, you are free, whether you believe it or not. And the more that you believe it, the freer you will become. Okay. And then you've got this beautiful energy of the two emotions, which means that, Spirit is really saying that there's a way in which part of where you all are going to get your benefits, your support is going to be from other human beings, other connected hearts. If you do not feel like you're in a connection here. Now, this connected hearts could be a friendship. It also often represents love connection. This is a strong energy of that love connection coming in that connection. And I feel for you all that this is a new, I'll say a new connection and or a new level of connection for those of you who are already connected in a heart-centered relationship. Okay. If you're not in a heart-centered relationship, then this is really something new that can be emerging for you as you tap into your intuitive self. Some of you are in connected relationships that I'm hearing that you still need to tap into your intuitive self, and some things will be revealed and some things may need to shift and change, but you may still be able to embrace that relationship if there is a mutual kind of like growth that is occurring. Okay. But some of you are in relationships in which that cannot occur. In other words, you're going to go in and do that deep work, and then you're going to realize this no longer serves me. Okay. Depending on what type of relationship is, where it is in the relationship, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But this is like, it's talking about this beautiful, heart-centered, connected energy that will come from your deep work of really tapping into, speaking on your true wants and needs and your intuitive guidance. Okay. The other thing is you've got this kava kava, which I love so much because it's really about celebration and community. And the kava kava, it also talks about kinship with your tribe, like your soul tribe, right? Your friendships, union, finding your chosen family. Okay, this is what the kava kava represents. And I feel like that is in direct alignment with what we're seeing here. Friends, finding your chosen community, this connected, heart-centered connection, like you all, our connection is going to be, so do not feel alone, beloveds, because the more that you tap into yourself, the more you're going to be surrounded by community. It is just truly, truly present in this reading, and it is so, so, so beautiful. It says that when you widen your circles intentionally, you receive support from the universe and others to join you on the path. Okay, so it's like being clear about what your path is. To fully draw upon this medicine, it gently invites us to observe our position in the community in this moment. Are you a protector, creator, connector, or visionary? And how does that correlate this moment in your life alongside with your personal evolution? Oftentimes, finding your purpose within your community and the parallels with your inner journey can provide great relief and meaning. So really, it's about finding that space where you are grounded in yourself internally and allowing yourself to be your whole authentic self within your community. When you are able to bring those two things together, you are able to fly. You all truly fly. Okay. And this is where you're going to be able to manifest the magic that works within you. This beetle spirit really talks about you maybe not truly believing in the magic within you, feeling like, oh, I'm not the one who can manifest things. Well, guess what? Yes, you are. And this is also a 7 card. It's 52, which is 7. And those of you who weren't in the card picking part of this reading is a 777, because each of these sections I pulled 7 cards for because I felt I needed to do 777. So it's just interesting that we're seeing a 7 here as well. So, but this card is really saying like you do have that magic within you. So do not doubt yourself for that. And then your final 2 cards, we talked about this activation card, but I love this card of the Aspen spirit. It talks about courage. Okay, it is telling you to step into your courage. All right. It says the energy of your inner spiritual warrior is ready to step forward to face any challenges or blockages in life. Be willing to accept help and be fearless, because you are all about, it's so beautiful, because it may seem scary at first, but when you start to tap into your intuitive sense, when you start really tapping into your soul and heart journey, that which was difficult becomes easier. Okay. And new things open up for you, that you didn't even realize could become easier. And so that is just a beautiful, beautiful energy. And then finally on this card here, which I spoke about in terms of intuitively what I saw here, this card also says, get ready because big changes are ahead. Things that have been incubating are now coming to life. A profound transformation is ahead. Take risks. Keep going. Prepare for this time of upheaval, fluctuations, and renewal, and the end result will be glorious. Woo! Yes. So this is a beautiful reading, you all. I hope that you were able to get something from it. It was a pleasure to read for you. I think that you are on an amazing journey. Really, really proud of the work that you're doing. Hang in there and continue to tap into yourself. Tap into yourself and all will be revealed. You're going to get connected with community and all of these beautiful things are going to happen. And I'm so, so happy for you. So that's beautiful. So thanks again for joining the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is Agate. If you have not yet subscribed, please go down there and click that subscribe button. And I will see you in your next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Bloodstone crystal here and this card, Explore, Love, Create, this is going to be your reading. So just as a reminder, this is a 3-part reading, and we are looking at the overarching question is what gateways or portals are going to open for us within the new eclipse. Okay, so for you in this new eclipse. And this card is coming from the second section of the reading, which is about what is actually going to be coming in. The first section of the reading, so we'll come back to that. We're going to look into what do you need to release, okay? What do you need to release? And then the second section, we will look at what is opening for you and what you can attract, okay? And then the final section is going to be guidance from spirit, guidance and or support from spirit. All right, so let's jump in. So thank you for joining the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is Agate. If you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button at the bottom. I'd appreciate it. I'm happy to have you in the community. That being said, let's get into your reading. Okay, so what do you need to release? You've got the Knight of Wands, okay, and the Empress, okay. So both of these cards are typically, well, I mean, it's all within context, but like they're typically really good cards. And what we're going to be looking at is what do you need to release. So I'm going to be looking at the shadow side of these cards in terms of what do you need to release. But let's see what else you've got before we go into that. So, and you've got the Ladybug and the Sweet Pea, happiness. Okay. And you've got observation, bond, and your final card for release, luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. So we will definitely look at that. Okay, great. So in terms of what it is that you need to release during this eclipse period, so the Knight of Wands, this energy can be unfocused when it's in shadow, because the Knight of Wands, not in shadow, is a very focused energy moving forward, full speed ahead. And so unfocused, it can really talk about some self-sabotaging, fiery emotions that can cause a problem or issues within your environment or within yourself or within your relationships, okay? It can talk about a sort of recklessness and lack of self-awareness, okay? So there's a need to, this, you know, when I talk about what do we need to release with this Knight of Wands, there's almost like a sense of there's a need to slow down a bit and be more purposeful and more focused in what it is that you're actually doing, because this is a very unfocused energy and can be a bit reckless. So if there's ways in which you may be moving in a reckless way, that's something to be mindful of. Understand that that can look like a lot of different things. It can be it can also be, what I'm hearing is internally reckless. So some of you may be out there being a bit reckless, in your environment, or making decisions too quick, or just like moving without being fully conscious, being fully self-aware. Okay. But it can also mean that being reckless within yourself, within your own emotions, kind of being a bit callous, if you will, with your own self. So that's something to be mindful of. Now, the Empress is often a very beautiful card because it talks about sort of like creating, right? And fertility and abundance, right? And the Empress in shadow is going to be this lack consciousness, a sense of like overwhelm, shutting down, really a very deep need for self-care, which is kind of what I think I was picking up in this Knight of Wands, is like there's this sense of like not being self-aware to the point where you're not even fully taking care of yourself, loves. So all of you all who chose pile number 3, one of the things that you really need to release is being, not taking care of yourself fully. And really, this card is really speaking to like emotional self-care. Can also talk about being overly materialistic, because the Empress is very like giving and abundant to the point where she's just able to like just sort of give freely. And so there's this sort of sense of like, one thing that you may need to let go of is like being too tied to like material possessions, right? But really the overarching thing that I am getting from both of these cards is this sense of like a need for greater self-care, a need for greater self-regulation is what I'm hearing, or emotional, supporting yourself emotionally, giving yourself the things that you need to feel good in your life. Because we've got this happiness. And this card is really pointing to me like this need, this desire to do more for yourself, to be happy, to allow yourself to be happy. With these two energies here, in terms of what you need to release, it just sort of feels like it sort of leads into this way in which you're, whether it's conscious or unconscious, I'm told, you're being reckless in a way that's like, that's affecting your overall happiness in your life. And it's important that you really be conscious of that. This card also speaks about being careful about not taking on too much. Okay, because you may feel like things are under control, but there's a way in which things are a bit out of control and out of balance, and therefore causing you to be a bit reckless. Okay, so it's just something to be mindful. It could be that the balance is just very delicate and you have, just taken on more than you really can, which is causing you when you take on more than you can take on, it can upset you emotionally. It can disrupt your balance, and then therefore you act out in ways that are not your truest self. It's not your highest self, right? Because you're overtired, or you're doing something that you didn't think you could, that was just too much. It can just kind of spiral into a situation that makes things out of balance. And so that's what these cards are kind of speaking to in terms of what you need to release within this eclipse. Now, this card to me is actually speaking to something to be mindful of. Maybe not necessarily something to release, but a way to behave or a way to kind of interact. You've got this observation card, and this crow is like very carefully waiting to see. At any time, this crow could jump in and eat that poor little spider. But the crow is just watching very carefully all of its moves and understanding better what the situation is and what the environment is. And what I'm hearing is that you need to let go of some of the things that you're taking on so that you can be more mindful in your environment that you can be more mindful of what's happening with your own internal world, because when we're moving at the speed of light or when we've taken on too much, we can't even really fully tap into how we're actually feeling to get the equilibrium, to get the harmony that we need to be able to effectively navigate our worlds. Okay. So that this card to me is about a behavior. It's about taking a step back and being a bit more mindful. Now, the bond card is talking about taking a look at that which you're deeply connected to in your life. It's almost like, to me, this card is saying you need to just do a check, like a check-in, if you will, with those things that you're closest to, the people that you're closest to, the things that you're passionate about in your life, and just like, where are they in your world? Are you giving them the attention that they need, or that you would ultimately want to give if you were more tapped in with yourself? You see what I'm saying? Or like, if it's like a passion of yours, or is it on the side burner, or are you actually doing something with it, right? So it's about like just taking a moment to consider that which holds your heart bond. Okay, people, places, things, activities, thoughts, ideas, whatever it is that you hold close to your heart. Okay, animals, whatever it might be. All right, so check in with that. And then finally, you've got this luck is on your side, and it's talking about new moon in Sagittarius. And the main thing about this card that I'm picking up in my understanding is, for one, it's beautiful that it's saying that luck is on your side, because that means that, sort of where you're moving in is you have this sense of luck, this positivity that's going to be coming in. I also felt like when I started first praying over this particular pile, I really got the sense that you all, maybe, also you guys got this card here, which we're going to talk about next, but this explore, love, and create. I really got this sense that many of you have been doing a lot of work. Many of you have been doing a lot of work, and that you're actually like, this pile did not feel as, it felt a little bit lighter in terms of the energy. Okay. In terms of, the work that the eclipse, right? Because we're talking about, everybody's probably going to be going through some sort of change. Okay. I'm sorry. My camera can't keep hitting the camera. It's going through some sort of change. But for this pile, I do feel like you're going to be going through some change, because everybody is. But I also feel like yours is going to be less of a, it's not that it's necessarily going to be less of a change. It's just that you've been doing a lot of work. And so therefore, you're going to be able to kind of ride with the change a little bit more. But it's really a deepening for you, and a possible way for you to go to another level, okay, by the work that is coming through this eclipse, okay? So really tapping into the ways that, because when I say, you're being reckless, I'm really getting the sense that it's like the recklessness is coming from overwhelm, from just a lot of things going on in your space. And that if you really tap into your heart center, you'll be able to put that at bay. But you've got to give yourself the space and time to do that. Okay. So that's what I am seeing here for what it is that you need to release. And now we're going to move to the second section of the reading, which is what gateways are opening up for you. What can you attract in during this time of the eclipse? And I'm going to pause the camera for a minute so I can move these cards out the way, and we can put your new set of cards down. Okay. Okay. So let's get into the second part. So this is what is opening for you. What gateway is opening? Okay. Phases. Shine even when you're not whole. Yeah. Yeah. I just really get the sense you all have really been doing a lot of work on yourself, and you have a lot of light. And so you are able to shine even when you're not whole. The work that you're doing. Sometimes we get overwhelmed with work that we're doing the right work. We're on the right path, but it's still just a lot. And it still can be sort of overwhelming and get you off balance. So this is just a reminder that like everything goes through phases. And so even if you have been on the right path, you feel like you're in the right place, there's always an opportunity to be able to kind of elevate a bit more, okay? This is the one where we're going to pull in this card of explore, love, create. The only thing that holds you back is you. Oopsie. Okay. So let me just put this here. Okay. So we'll talk about that as a 4-4. Now, the other cards that you have, you've got the 5 of Swords. Interesting. So you can look at that. Wow. Okay. You may have been dealing with some, this is definitely a card of conflict. You know, she's kind of like holding a piece of his heart. Okay. Which is kind of intense. And then she's also got this flower that's sort of, it reminds me of the sense of like hiding behind hospitality or niceties, or like this sort of almost a little bit manipulative energy. It could be coming from someone towards you, or it could be your way of protecting yourself in a situation that is not positive and is actually quite a bit of conflict and quite a bit of hurt, okay? Because it's just really interesting that she is fully in her red, dress here. It's all like kind of fully pulled in. And then this person, this, it looks like it's a male figure, is in shadow. And there's like a bit of brokenness. Actually, this is really interesting because some of you all might be having a conflict within yourself, because what just came to my head was that so some of you are actually in conflict with other individuals, but some of you who are listening to this are actually in conflict with yourself, balancing yourself, your masculine, feminine, and there's a way in which you are not looking deeply at yourself in the situation so that you don't have to deal with the hurt that's there, the sorrow that's there. So this, as I said, there's some of you that are going to hear this that it's about an actual another person that you're in conflict with, and just being mindful of which part you're playing here, right? Who's in shadow and who is sort of in the forefront. And then some of you are actually, this is about yourself. This is about finding the balance within yourself. And because we're talking about what's opening, what's coming into your world, okay? And this is, I guess that light is just going to shine down heavy on that. But, this is really talking about an opportunity to resolve this either internal conflict or the external conflict. And the way that you're going to be able to do that is through love, okay? Because this card is all about exploring, love, create. It is really talking about what is possible in the universe is beyond what our possible imaginations could create, but that it is all stemmed through love. And that love is the power in the universe that is ever present, has always been present, was present now, and will always be. And that there is, and I'm talking about all different kinds of love, right? And so there's a way in which this card is your overarching card in terms of what is happening, what is opening for you in terms of the gateway. So there's this huge expansiveness of love, right? The ability to create. This is the only thing that holds you back is you, okay? This is another kind of confirmation for me on that. This card right here, this 5 of Swords, could very much, for actually maybe more of you than not, be representing a battle that you're having within yourself, okay? So let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so you've got the 3 of Cups, the 3 of Pentacles, interesting, and the Emperor. Well, you look at that. So you've got the Emperor. We got the Empress when we're talking about the shadow side of the Empress in terms of what you needed to release, okay? And then what is coming in is the Empress. So in the non-shadow side, right? So that's really beautiful because there's a way in which, it's like, this is truly your essence, all of you beautiful souls who chose this pile. And so it's just a matter of, we always have to balance the shadow and the light. But I love that when we talk about what we're attracting, what we're bringing into, is that you're bringing in this beautiful Empress energy, which is just lovely. Okay, so these are your cards, right? Are these? Oh, sorry. No, these are also, sorry. These are also for what are you bringing in? So you've got listening. I'm going to put this over this Empress. So let's see. And movement. That's okay. All right. Great. Good. Okay. So we'll come back to that. Okay. So we already talked about this sort of Five of Swords. Now the Three of Cups is really lovely because it's about community and celebration. Okay. Community and celebrate. But, threes kind of really talk about this sort of collaborative energy. And so here you've got celebration, coming together and celebrating with your community, your family, your loved ones. It could be an event that is taking place, but there's an opening where that is going to come in. And, we're about to, we're coming into spring. There's like more things coming out. So there's really an opportunity that may be open for you. It's like more celebration, more connection with community, friends and family and all of our deep loved ones. And then you've got the Three of Pentacles, which talks about collaborative success. So it's about working with the community to have greater success. All right. So there's an opening for you in these, through this eclipse to be able to work with others. There's going to be blessings and abundance for you in terms of connecting with your community, known or unknown at this point. Okay. But really about, especially with this collaborative, it's like there may be a project that is coming up or some way in which you can connect with other people. And that project is going to be successful and moving forward. And so that is something that is occurring. I'm really getting the sense of like a creative project that you might be working on, or if you're not doing anything that you would deem creative, then it's something like a hobby of some kind, or like a community organization. That's something that you're working on, that you're passionate about, that stirs something in you that you're going to be working with others on, that's going to actually bring you a lot of success. I'll come back to this Empress real quick, but for the listening card here, so this card is a really lovely card in that it really talks about this idea of, if you're feeling like you're not heard, one of the things that you do to remedy that is to listen, right? So it reminds me of this observation card that we called in the first part of your reading about releasing, right? And I talked about this mindset, this sense of being mindful, this sense of taking a step back and watching, observing, listening, okay? That there's this sense of sort of listening, and that listening is something that's opening. Now, because we've got these beautiful musical notes here and this little bird up here, some of you, there may be an opening. If you are creative in any way, there may be some opening around music. Now, whether that be your own singing or music that you create or music that you listen to, but something with music opening up a new pathway for you. And I'm really feeling this in my heart. So it feels like, some of you all may have a real love of music. And if maybe you have been away from it, maybe you need to, I keep hearing that music is a medicine, right? So that for some of you all, if you haven't been listening to as much music lately, and maybe that's something that you did in the past, that is something for you to really consider, because it's a medicine for you. It is something that can, what I heard was stimulate joy. So stimulate joy within you. And by stimulating the joy in you, the reason why I think they're phrasing it that way is because it is an energy that supports you in moving on with your soul purpose. Okay. So yeah, there's something about this listening and music and connecting with music that is an opening with, as a part of this eclipse, is going to bring you a blessing, something that is going to open for you. It could be, it's interesting because it could be like, I'm sort of seeing it and experiencing it, but it's like, it could be an opening of your own mind. It's like you're going to listen to, it could be any type of music. Like I'm hearing all different kinds of music, like jazz, classical, like R&B, like rap. I'm hearing all of it, like just a mix of like all different kinds, music, Latin, maybe it's time for you to explore. If there's something that you haven't like listened to, you may want to explore it, because I feel like it's a medicine for this pile. Like there's something in it. There's something in music for you that is going to be opening within this eclipse. That is very clear because I keep hearing it. Beautiful. Okay. And then you've got movement. And I love this so much because this card is about really being able to move your whole world, like the whole world is here and you are able to make productive, positive movement in your life. So if you've been feeling stagnant in any way in your life, with this new eclipse that's coming in over the next couple of days, you're going to start to see things move in a positive direction. Okay. And you may be moving in different ways. Some of you may be traveling. Okay. Because, you're crossing large distances here, but the distance can be actual physical distance, like i.e. getting on a plane and going somewhere, or it could also be a distance within your reality or within your mind, or even what I'm hearing is in your imagination. Therefore, what it is that you believe is possible for you, because understand, what you believe is possible can then become become your physical reality. Okay. So the more that you can expand what you actually truly believe is possible for you, the more movement you can actually see in your life. And I feel like that's what is being represented here. Beautiful. Really, really lovely. And then finally, you've got this Empress card here again. And the Empress is all about abundance, creating. I mean, she not only like creates the world, she creates the universe, because she's a major arcana. She is wealthy. She is abundant. She is nurturing. She is creating. She's giving birth to new ideas. She's giving birth to, new projects, new creative things. I mean, just an abundant, flourishing, beautiful, prosperous energy. And this is prominent here in your reading in terms of what is going to be opening for you. So step into your Empress energy, my loves, and reap all of the benefits of being in that queenly type space. Even if you're a king, okay, you can still step into that space of creation, that place of fertility, that space of, nourishment, that state of being so overly abundant that you can just give very, very easily, So that is what I'm seeing here in terms of opening for you for the eclipse. And now we're going to move into the guidance from Spirit, and I'm going to pause the video so I can move these cards and we can see what cards you have here from Spirit. Okay, so let's dig in. So we've got resilient. Stay strong as evergreen trees. Okay, lovely. Spirit is really wanting you to step into and stay in your power. That Empress energy is such a strong, powerful energy. And Spirit is really saying, stay. You have the resiliency that you need to move into this next phase of your journey, which I definitely feel like you guys are on the next phase of your journey. Like it's not like you're not new to this. Okay. So this is what we have. So we've got the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. Beautiful. The Emperor. Look at that. So we've got the Empress and the Emperor. Okay. Lovely. Rosemary. Oh, how beautiful. Ancient memory. Yeah. Such a deep connection to spirit. And some of you may really be opening, you may really be connecting to your ancestors or your lineage, like your DNA line, and connecting to those energies, and it's causing a new level of opening for you. And spirit is really saying to understand, the rosemary plant is a very sturdy plant, and it is very, very old, and it's been used for centuries. I mean, just a really long time in terms of like spiritual, as an herb, as a spiritual, they found it as it was, some remnants of it were found in like Egypt, in the Egyptian tombs, and like it's been used in the biblical times. Rosemary was used. It's sometimes connected as the Rose of Mary, because it's believed that Mary, when she was escaping Egypt, hid by a rosemary bush, and so it's just that it's an herb that has a lot of power, like throughout the century, in various cultures and various traditions and various, lineages. And so it's just interesting that it's coming up here, because I really was already feeling that this pile is like connected in a different way, and that, it feels like this is kind of confirmation of that spirit is really saying like that you are getting more deeply connected to your spiritual guides, your ancestral realm, your connection to, higher beings, and to go with that, to allow yourself to go with the flow of that. Let me see what your other cards are here too. You got Seahorse spirit, watch and wait. There's been that energy, like this observation, and then there was something else that I was feeling like it was tied to this idea of needing to wait. So to observe, right? To observe, to listen. That's what it was. It was the listening card, which was also went into the music card. But this is sort of idea of taking your time and watching and waiting. I'm going to talk more about that seahorse though. And then you've got the unicorn, beautiful, purity. I feel like that should go right under that rosemary card. And then the final card, healing, the bear spirit. Okay, healing, the bear spirit. Okay. All right. So I want to look at some of these cards. Like I was starting to talk on the rosemary card, but I just really feel like that's such a beautiful message and confirmation on this reading, in terms of being connected to spirit, being connected to ancestors, being connected to ancient memory, because it actually says on here ancient memory. Okay, excuse me. It talks about past feelings and emotions are resurfacing from deep within. You may find yourself remembering and accessing ancestral memory that resides within your DNA. Rosemary assists us in healing through multi-dimensional sight, reminding us to use the power of vision to see beyond the constraints of everyday life. So don't disassociate or get consumed by the veil that broadcasts emotional imbalance. Call upon Rosemary as a guiding light to see beyond the veil of confusion and stay committed to the vision that moves you. So, it's really interesting, because it's like this message here is really saying, if you're feeling connected in like maybe your third eye is opening, or you're just feeling more deeply connected to your spiritual guides and things like that, don't allow yourself to fall into a space of like, oh, I must be confused, or I must not be feeling that, or I must not be. No, your spirit is really saying like, trust yourself, trust your intuition. Do not fall into a space of confusion. Okay. Don't allow yourself to be in a space of confusion. But I definitely got a little bit distracted by that. But that's really beautiful. It's really beautiful energy. The other thing I want to say, like in terms of what Spirit is saying, is they're also saying, there's this pause energy that's happening here, because the Seven of Pentacles talks about a need for like pause, okay? Because what you've been manifesting, the seeds that you've planted, they are growing, and they are growing abundantly, but they have not yet fully come to harvest. So there's a sense of like you need to cultivate a bit of patience in this process and continue to move yourself forward. But they are definitely growing and blooming. But this is a card of pause, a bit of pause. But then you've got the Emperor energy, which is fantastic. It's really talking about the Emperor is immensely abundant, immensely prosperous, sort of kingly, stately, known. All right. But what really makes the Emperor, and I love that you've got the Empress twice, and then you've got the Emperor. Okay. And I love that, because you've got there, some of you could have a divine counterpart out there, but in regards to the energy of the Emperor, the reason why he's so successful is that he uses strategy. Okay. So it reminds me back to that crow in the beginning of the observation, like this sense of, I want to make sure it's not burning, in the sense of like, carefully watching your situation. And that's what this seahorse is saying too. But carefully watching your situation, watching your environment, and then making strategic choices to move yourself forward. I feel like this pile that you all, like I said, have been doing some work. And so I'm really talking about like I'm talking on a little bit, like, I'm not just talking on like the 3D, like what am I talking about? I'm talking about being strategic on your soul path in multiple ways, like spiritually strategic, emotionally strategic, and not in a manipulative way. I'm not talking about being manipulative. I'm talking about being strategic, right? So being planful, diligent, watchful, consistent, right? That's the type of energy that I'm talking about. That is what Spirit is asking you to be mindful of as you're on your path, because they're taking you to new places, is what I'm hearing. So you're going to new places, and in order to go to those new places, you're going to need to be a little bit strategic. You're going to need to, so when we think about strategy too, they're giving me a little more information. So when we think about strategy, it's like being strategic about like how you use your time. When do you get sleep, so that you can make sure that you're ready and prepared to do the work that you need to do. Okay. So that's what, it's just sort of like thinking about how you're maneuvering in your life so that you can do the work that Spirit or your ancestors or your guides might be dropping knowledge gems for you to pick up. Okay. Now the seahorse spirit is lovely because, again, it's this watch and wait energy. And it says that Spirit wants you to know that even if you're tempted to jump into the fray to try to fix some things, the best way to serve yourself and the others around you right now is to remain calm and simply watch and see. Okay. And the other message here is that whatever you are thinking about, whatever the query is, and here we're looking at what is Spirit's guidance for us right now. Okay. That Spirit is asking you to take a step back, be willing to explore things from different angles rather than a single one, and just observe what is possible. From the perspective of the position of a neutral observer, you will discover a myriad of opportunities and a deeper understanding of what you seek and why. And you will know beauty, truth, love, and wisdom. That is gorgeous. Okay. So Spirit is really really saying to you that they want you to stay resilient because they're trying to show you some things, okay? Some new things are going to be opening for you, and that is really beautiful. Your final two messages, you've got the bear spirit, which really talks about you being a healer. It says healing here, but it says you are a healer and a channel for the life force of the universe. You are strong and grounded and resilient, okay? Healing is unfolding and a situation is being resolved. So have faith that all is well, okay? So yeah, I feel like you're actually going through healing, and as well as there is possibly another situation in your life that's actually receiving its own healing, but there's also a lot of internal healing here. The other thing that I'm hearing is that some of you all are doing some healing with your ancestral work that is healing not just you, but your whole ancestral line. So that's why it's important for you to be resilient, because you're being asked to do a task that others have not been asked to do, okay? And the reason why I think you've been asked to do that, I'm pointing to this last card, is your sense of purity, okay? And this says, no matter what happened in your life, step into your innate innocence. You have a pure soul. You are a child of the Creator. Let go of the past and see the world with new eyes, and almost miraculously, wonders will abound. I love that for you all to end your reading on. And it's also just a big confirmation in terms of what this eclipse is going to be bringing for you. There are some portals opening for you that's going to elevate you, ascend you to a new level, and also support you in the work that Spirit is asking you to do in regards to your own healing and in regards to the healings of your soul family and those that are around you. So much respect, much light to you all. This has been a beautiful reading. I hope that you received something from it. It has been truly, truly my pleasure. And I hope if you like the videos that you're getting here, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a part of the community. Give a like or share. I'd love to hear any comments that you might have in regards to how this pans out for you. And I hope that you have a beautiful eclipse and that beautiful, wonderful things begin to emerge into your life, and that you can feel it deeply in your heart and have a joyful, abundant day. Thanks again, and I'll see you in your next reading. Bye-bye.